All right, folks, what is going on? This is episode 603 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern Atlanta Falcons football. And today we're going to talk about a couple of wide receivers, one that committed to Georgia Southern and one that's a veteran for the Falcons. We're going to talk about both of these players and how important they're going to be. Well, I believe they're going to be for both teams. It's going to be really interesting. So I'm kind of excited about this show. I really am. So hopefully everybody had a great Father's Day. You know, I hope everything is cool. If you don't see up here, if you're not watching on the podcast, or if you're watching on listening on the podcast avenue, I got this Father's Day cup my amazing wife made for me. I'm gonna see if I can show a little bit. It got some of, is it like a collage of a bunch of pictures that's on the cup? I mean, this is a phenomenal cup my wife made for me, and it says to the world, you are a father, but to us, you are the world. And I think this is awesome. This is amazing. I love this cup. Glad that my wife made that for me. She makes stuff like that. She's just amazing. I love it. So with that out of the way, I hope everybody else had a great Father's Day. Phenomenal day for me. I really enjoyed it. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble. I'm also on Anchor, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. Hopefully you guys will subscribe to the podcast side of things, because some days the video side of the show acts a little funny. So it takes a while for it to get to YouTube and Rumble. So I'm kind of worried about that. But I mean, it just does that sometimes. It's YouTube. What can you say? But nevertheless, we're going to get right into it. Before I get that, find me on Twitter at VFBaller, and the website is firstandframerates.com. I'm a little all over the place. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. You may not know who this kid is that's on the screen if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble. His name is Carmelo Mays. He is a wide receiver at Southwest High School in the Macon, Georgia area. Once again, Coach Clay Helton is going all in the Georgia, the state of Georgia, as far as finding talent. Bought some talent home not too long ago from the Big Ten. One played at Purdue, one played at Illinois. I think it was Illinois. Nevertheless, brought those guys back home to play together. A couple of cornerbacks to play for Georgia Southern. Pulled a recruit that was a commit at the University of Georgia. Brought him down to Statesboro to play with us as well. And now we got another kid that's going to be here in 2024. Carmelo Mays. 6'1", 180 pounds, out of Macon, Georgia Southwest High School. And why I think this kid is a hidden gem, because he had over 1,000 yards last year in his junior year in 10 games. 10 games, 53 catches for 1,008 yards, 19 yards average, 100 yards a game, 14 touchdowns. So this kid is already showing that he can get it done in high school, and that was his junior year. So he's going to come back for his senior year, and he's already committed to Georgia Southern. When you have a coach like Coach Clay Helton, and Brian Ellis is the offense coordinator, and you know right now in the state of Georgia, I mean, we probably have like the most prolific passing game. I mean, it's debatable between Georgia and Georgia Southern, but I mean, we almost was like number 5 in passing yards last year in all of FBS football. So, you know, if you're a receiver, this is where you're going to want to go. And for him to show off his talents with all the other receivers we have, you're going to get the ball, because all we're going to do is pass, pass, pass. Now, don't get me wrong, Georgia Southern is known for running the ball, and don't get it twisted. We will run the ball on you if need be. But Coach Clay Helton is more aggressive in the air. And now you're starting to see more receivers come in. Like, you know, we already seen Jalen Barton and the tight end Keaton from Kentucky, and Anthony Queeley from Syracuse, and with all the other receivers we already had, like the Durham Burgess and Sam Kennersons and, you know, Marcus Sanders. We have a lot of weapons. Caleb Hood. We have so many weapons. It's going to be very, very difficult for any defense to contain what we're doing. Davis Brin has to be happy to have all those guys, and whoever's going to come after Davis Brin is going to have a good receiver out of Carmelo Mays. One other thing about this kid that you may not know, at 6'1", 170, he still has room to grow, and he's already running a 4.3 40. So you got another speedster. So him and Jet Thompson is going to give people problems. You know, him and Joshua Thomas is going to give people problems for at least 2 years, in my opinion. if everything goes well as far as, those, at least those two guys being on the field. And it's just going to be a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare for all type of cornerbacks. I haven't seen any cornerback tandem or any cornerback in general that's really going to be able to contain even one or two of these guys on the field. So I can't wait to see what this kid's going to be able to do. I'm going to be following this kid's senior year. He's going to be at Southwest High School. I'm going to find my way to possibly, I don't know, maybe even go to a game down there. I mean, it's on Friday nights. I'm not that far from Macon. I can take that, hour and a half drive down there to catch a game on a Friday night. And that's one of the things I want to do. I really want to do. I want to start catching some Friday night lights, some Friday night football, because especially with me moving here to the Atlanta area, there's a lot of good football in the high school rankings in Atlanta. And I want to be able to see a lot of that. Some of those kids may not never make it to Georgia Southern, but just to watch those guys and see whatever school they go to, it'll be great. Even if some that do make it to Georgia Southern, it'll be cool to watch those guys grow and progress. And with Carlos Mays actually have another year under his belt going into the final year of his high school career, I don't mind going down there to watch a game or two. Just going down to make it. I mean, it's not that far. So salute to Carmelo Mays making a decision to become a Georgia Southern Eagle. And it's going to be really interesting to see, because I'm really excited with what Coach Clay Helton is doing. He's constantly bringing talent. Not saying that we didn't have talent before, but we didn't have like receivers like this at Georgia Southern. I mean, we were happy when we had Darion Anderson. We had Darion Anderson. We thought we was all that. You know what I'm saying? Not to take nothing away from Darion Anderson, because he balled out. But when you have got that Michael, I think it was Michael Machado. I think that's his name. It kind of get away from me a little bit. But when you have these guys that are, we're actually throwing the ball now, it's going to be really interesting to see like how these guys progress. It's going to be really, really cool to see. So shout out to Mr. Mays. Can't wait to see you. I do plan on, and you're hearing it now, I do plan on coming to see one of your games, maybe two games down there in Macon. Go to Southwest High School, find out what the schedule's like. I may even rock some Georgia Southern gear just to show you my support, that I'm glad that you are going to be in Statesboro. All right, let's go ahead and get into the next topic before we get out of here. I'll try to do between, 10 and 18 minutes around that mark. Talk about Mack Hollins. Shout out to, once again, man, SI.com. These guys at the Falcon Report. If you want to get some, good articles out there that's not necessarily jumping on the Falcons all the time, actually being fair and actually giving you not necessarily a positive spin, but just basically, just doing news. Because all news isn't negative news and all news isn't rah-rah news. These guys are more like down the middle. They're very fair. So shout out to the Falcons Report once again. I talked about them extensively on a couple of other episodes, but this time it is Daniel Flick from the Falcons Report on SI.com. Mack Hollins is stepping up as a leader on the Falcons offense. So this is really interesting. The report starts, then, I'll probably put the link down in the description, like I said before, but it starts that the Atlanta Falcons record-breaking receiver Drake London was speaking with reporters Wednesday when he saw a face appear in the window behind him. London paused, glanced, and made eye contact with fellow receiver Mack Hollins, who intently listened to each word his teammate said. All London could do was smile and laugh and continue to answer questions, but not to be lost in the moment is the clear chemistry developed between he and Hollins. So that's pretty dope. You getting a guy that's basically going to show him the ropes. You kind of thought that was going to be the case when Drake London first came in, and you thought he was going to have somebody to really lean on like that, but that kind of wasn't the case. London said, "We love Mack." The reason for the fast-growing friendship between the two is simple. In London's eyes, there's a common personality and drive shared by players that the Falcons coach Arthur Smith and general manager Terry Fontenot have added to the roster over the past 3 years, making it easy for the new pieces to blend together. See, that just goes back to what I was saying before. Coach Arthur Smith and Terry Fontenot are bringing their guys in that field that can mesh and work together and play football in the vision that they want the game to be played. So this is, like I said, this is going to be, pretty much it's going to be, what I want to say, it's going to be really a marathon. It's going to take time to get things to gel together, but they're getting it together. This budding relationship is particularly important considering that Hollins, at 29, is currently the favorite to be Atlanta number 2 receiver on the opposite side of London. Sure, the Falcons have plenty of weapons on offense, be it London, Kyle Pitts, Jonno Smith, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Cordell Patterson, which make Hollins' actual uses less clear. But he's proven early on his time in Atlanta that he's going to be impactful in one way or another. See, that's what leadership is. I mean, you don't have to just get all the numbers to be a leader. Sometimes you just show guys, hey, you might want to do this like this. Hey, if I was you, I'd do it like that. Or you might want to look out for this because he has that, experience. Thus far, Hollins, who is entering his 7th season as a professional, has starred as a leader on the young Falcons offense, which is he's the oldest pure wideout and the 6th oldest overall player. So when discussing veteran presences, Falcons quarterback Desmond Ridder, he singles out Hollins as opposed to other new additions. So even Desmond Ridder's starting to realize, like, this guy is probably a guy that, I really like to go at, or I'll pick his brain, or whatever the case may be. It's pretty cool. In that wide receiver room is a lot of young guys, and Mack has done a great job of stepping up and taking those guys under. Whether it's in the weight room, whether it's in the film room, whatever it may be, he's one of those guys to be vocal about it and be able to get in and get everybody going. And that's what you want in a receiver that has some veteran leadership. You kind of thought you was going to get that out of Brian Edwards last year, and you see how that played out. So went right back to the well again, went back to the Raiders and got another receiver, and Mack Hollins is going to be the guy that's, going to be the guy that's going to push everybody, make sure everybody's working hard or whatever the case may be. So it goes further down to talk about his stats or whatever he could do, and all the things that he's also capable of doing, even going into special teams, which is another thing. These players nowadays, especially the ones that Coach Arthur Smith wants, those are the guys that can do a little bit of everything. I mean, even if you have the John Fitzpatricks of the world, who's a tight end that were brought in through the draft, had him on special teams. Jared Bernhardt, he was on special teams for a while. Look at Avery Williams. I mean, he went down with an injury, but he came in as a cornerback, went kick return and running back. So you want guys who can do a little bit of everything. Mack Hollins seems like one of those guys is going to be a leader on as far as, being with the wide receivers, probably going to be doing a little bit more blocking because we're going to run the ball a little bit more. And also he might be out there on special teams every now and then. You just never know. So I think this is really cool at the end of the day that guys that are from the outside are really starting to step up and show what their, what their value really is. Some people thought Jesse Bates was going to be that guy, and he probably still will be. No telling, how things will play out once everything starts swinging in closer to preseason. But when you have guys who come in and just automatically set the tone for the team, like a Calais Campbell or like Mack Hollins, for instance, you're going to want those guys to be a part of your, team. And, once again, just like I said earlier, the leadership thing is just a trickle-down effect. It starts from the top. You bring guys in who has that type of philosophy, or have guys who have that same vision or that mentality, and it trickles down from the coach to the veterans to, to your star players, to the, the not so skilled players, rookies, all those guys. It just trickles down. So everybody from the top, from the coach all the way down to the guys on the practice squad, they're going to be the guys that's really going to have that same mentality and wants to get be on the same page to win football games. So it's at the end of the day, it's still an exciting time when you are looking at the Falcons and what they're able to be able to put together. Really cool. So let me know what you guys think. If you like this commentary, the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think, man. I mean, look, you got Carmelo Mays, speed receiver that's going to be with the Georgia Southern Eagles. He committed recently. Can't really be mad about that. I want to go see this kid play in person, so I'm going to start making my making my rounds to do so, because I want to see some players and with my own two eyes to give you an assessment how I feel. And also, him being a hidden gem, man. I mean, running so fast and getting 1,000 yards, and to be honest with you, nobody really looked at him. I think it was like one other school that decided to, look at him. And then you got Mack Hollins, a veteran receiver who have taken Drake London and the other guys under his belt and actually showing these guys what it's like to be a wide receiver in the NFL. I think it's pretty cool. I can be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Spotify, Stitcher, Apple, Google Podcasts. Give me a 5-star rating on those avenues. Let people know what we're doing over here. Share the podcast. Also, follow me on Twitter at VFBaller and the website, firstandframerates.com. Go over there and check out the website. Maybe you like what you see. You can support the podcast and everything under the umbrella. All right, y'all. I'm going to get up out of here. Y'all take it easy, and I will see you guys on a Tuesday. All right, y'all. Y'all be blessed. Peace.